Hello, 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 my people. This is Ifama Odunlami, immigration attorney from the Odunlami law firm. So, I wasn't here last week at all. I missed you guys. And so today, I don't really have a topic prepared, so I'm just going to address a couple of issues that have come up, and then I will take questions. If you have questions, you guys DM me all the time with questions. This is a good time for you to ask your question, and I will try my best to respond to it. So, how's everybody? So, if you join me, please, post a comment. Let me know where you're joining from. And for those who do not know me, my name is Ifama Odunlami. I'm an immigration attorney from the Odunlami law firm in New Jersey. My law firm serves clients in all 50 states. I'm an immigrant. And so my passion and my mission is to help my fellow immigrants, you guys, help you get your legal status without so much stress, at least minimize the stress. The immigration process is often a harrowing one. There's so much that we can do, but our purpose is to give you the best representation so that you know that somebody is on your side. We work really hard to make sure that we get you the best, version of your case out there, so that it's easier for USCIS to give you what you want. Now, of course, some people have a lot of issues with their cases, and we're not afraid of difficult cases. We love challenging cases. As a matter of fact, we had one today that we won. I am so excited. I wanted to dance on my table. That's how happy I was. And I can't go into the details of it because it's personal, for the person, but it was a case where a green card holder, his green card there was a threat to take it away from him. And so we had to fight hard for him. And we were able to have his green card returned to him after it had been taken away. After it was taken away, he retained us. We helped him and we got it. And it was the right decision because this man is a really great person and deserves to be a green card to live in the United States. So, hi everyone. Thank you. Hi, Lily Gabriels from Livingston, New Jersey. You're really close to me, Lily Gabriels. Nice to chat with you. So today, I want to talk about a very common scenario in marriage cases. You guys know we do marriage cases. We do VAWA, we do SJIS, U visa, T visa. We do deportation proceedings. We help people get out of deportation proceedings. So this case, the topic I have right now is marriage-based. For all those people who are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and their spouse is refusing to show up for the interview, threatening, or even calling USCIS and, making false claims about the marriage not being real because they know that it will be a problem for the U.S. For the intended immigrant, or they're calling and withdrawing their petition, or they show up on the interview and they sabotage the interview just to screw up the case, or there's an RFE, a request for evidence, that's sent to them and they refuse to respond to it. What do you do? So, this is a loaded question. If you have a spouse who is refusing to attend the interview, can that cause your case to be denied? Yes. Because the I-130 petition belongs to the spouse. So if the spouse says, I am not going to go ahead with this petition anymore, I'm going to withdraw it, that's the end of that petition. That's it. It's their petition. But there is good news. The good news is that if you are in an abusive relationship with this person, be it emotional abuse, they're calling you names, they're treating you badly, kicking you out of the house, leaving you home with nothing, with no food in the house, knowing you can't get anything, you have no money, you can't, take care of yourself, or just, putting you in a situation where people talking bad about you on social media, getting their family members to, to treat you badly, just isolating you, you know, you could file your own petition by yourself. This is called VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act. So the title connotes, oh, it has to be like physical abuse, violence. But no, VAWA does not have to be violent, does not have to be physical abuse. It can be emotional abuse. And I tell you guys, we've seen some really terrible emotional abuse stories. I mean, like sometimes it's just nerve-wracking, the things people do to other people, because they have the power over them, because they feel that without them they are not going to be able to stay in the United States. And so it gives them this power and it emboldens them to treat their spouses really badly. Now, with men, a lot of times it could be physical abuse. That we had a client that, oh my God, the pictures I saw, there was a lot of blood. I mean, and he didn't call the police because he was afraid. He went to the hospital and lied and said, oh, he was in a car accident, because he was afraid. And also, he didn't want to get her in trouble because, sometimes, that's part of the cycle of abuse. They're good sometimes, they're horrible sometimes, but when they're good, they're really good. And when they're really horrible, they're really horrible. And so that puts you in this flux where you're not really sure how to feel, so you feel that maybe it's something you're doing. So maybe you should stop saying certain things, doing certain things. Maybe you should give them certain things. Maybe they'll treat you better. But I want you to know that it has nothing to do with you. Somebody who is abusive, that's them. Narcissism is them, it's not you. And so what happens to you is that you're walking on eggshells. You're afraid to say stuff. You're afraid to air your opinion because it's going to cause a fight. So you keep to yourself. I had a client that was trying not to get into a fight with her spouse and just basically kept quiet. And that infuriated him even more. And he beat the hell out of her because she wouldn't speak. So really, you cannot get, sometimes it's just this, there's nothing you can do with regard to somebody who is abusive. But with regards to getting your green card, there's something you can do. You can file VAWA and petition for yourself. You can remove yourself from the power of this person who is treating you so badly. And VAWA just requires you to prove that you are married to the US citizen or the green card holder. That's in the case of a marital case. If it's in the case of, a familiar relationship, that you're the parent of a US citizen who is at least 21, or you're the child or stepchild of a US citizen or green card holder. That's it. Then you have to prove that you've resided with them at some point. You have to prove that in the case of marriage, it's a real marriage, not a sham marriage. And you have to prove the abuse. And then you have to prove that you're a person of good moral character. And this VAWA is what my firm does all the time. And so we have clients who come in here, they're like, I have no evidence. I can't tell you how many times I hear people tell me, oh, I have no evidence. I'm not going to be able to file VAWA. And by the time we put the package together, they are shocked at the evidence that they have. I had a client who didn't have any proof of bona fides because her spouse didn't take pictures, didn't do anything together with her. And we went on their social media and there was all this pictures by other people tagging them. It was amazing, so we were able to show that it was a bona fide marriage, which is a requirement of VAWA. So if you're in this position where you have a spouse who is refusing to go for the marriage interview, who is holding you hostage, telling you that unless you do this, I'm not going to show up for the interview. And if I don't show up for the interview, guess what? You're not going to get your green card because I'm the reason you're here. Or a spouse that's forcing you to work because they feel that they're doing you a favor. They got your work permit, therefore they don't have to work anymore. So they sit down at home, do nothing, and you have a joint bank account with them, and they're taking money from it, withdrawing money. The account is always in the red. All that kind of behavior is just really horrible. So let me answer some questions because I have a couple of questions here. and then I can go back to what I was saying. But basically, my point is, I'm looking at I have some questions here on Instagram. So basically, if this is you, stop putting yourself in a horrible situation where you're being tortured. And like I say to my VAWA clients, you can stay in the relationship if you feel that you are safe, because you can still file VAWA even if you're still with a person. But if you don't feel safe, or you feel this is not the right atmosphere for you, get out of the relationship. You can still file VAWA. And guess what? You can even divorce the person and you can still file VAWA, as long as you file the VAWA within 2 years of the divorce. All right. So let's see. Questions. Oli Pop says, hi, please. If I already filed my I-485 and got my social security card and work permit, but just waiting for an interview, is it possible to transition to VAWA and will wait my time to be transferred from the I-485 petition? So Oli Pop, this is a great question. I'm glad you asked this question. So if you already filed your I-485 and you already filed, you're waiting, you got your social security card, your work permit, you're just waiting to be called for the interview. Yes, that's the purpose of this video. You can still transition to VAWA, right? Even if you have an interview shortly, say you have an interview like tomorrow, it's possible for you to let the officer know that you're going to file for VAWA and request something called an abeyance so that you can prepare your VAWA case. I mean, that's not the best scenario for us, because we like to at least put something together so that we can take it, the client can take it with them, not VAWA papers, but just an abeyance request. But you can do that. So if you can transition to VAWA, and what happens when you have an abeyance request is you're telling USCIS, I'm intending to file VAWA, and I want my I-485 to be moved to the VAWA petition. I want it to be moved away from the I-130 of my spouse. I want it to be moved to VAWA so that I can proceed that way. And this is a great thing. USCIS cannot tell your spouse that you're filing for VAWA, right? It's confidential. So that's a great question, Olipop, and I hope that my answer did it justice. All right, let me look for the next question. So, okay, this Olipop still saying, because I've been waiting for an interview for a year, my US citizen spouse has been abusive and sabotaging, so I'm scared of going along with the interview when called. So, Olipop, this is a good time to move your case to VAWA, okay? Call our office. We can help you, 973-993-1900. Don't wait until you get called for an interview, because the reason you don't want to wait until you get called for an interview, because you want to have the VAWA put in so that the abeyance is already attached to the VAWA and your work permit continues effortlessly. That is, because if your I-485 is denied, then your work permit is kaput. So you want to be able to do this, move your case to VAWA right now, and your work permit continues because it's now attached to something else. It's not terminated. Do you understand that? Okay. Call our office, 973-993-1900. You should not live in fear of somebody who's been abusive. The power is in your hands, Olipop. You can do this. Take the first step, okay? Call our office or call an attorney, a VAWA attorney, somebody who you know is a really great VAWA attorney, because if you have a really great VAWA case, then you have the power that you think you don't have. All right. Official Regiment says, always want to listen to you when you speak. Thank you for always speaking the facts. People need to know. Official Regime, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're listening. I'm glad that it's, you're getting value from what I'm saying, because I really want you guys to understand this process and to just have some peace, because the whole process can be really nerve-wracking. But if you know certain things, and not to be worried about certain things, you have a sense of what the process is about and what's going to happen. Because I have people calling my office anxious all the time about things that are easily resolved for them, but they didn't know. All right. So thank you for listening, Official Regime. All right. Innocent Boy says, hello, Blackberry. I don't know what that is, but hello, Innocent. Who else? Let's see. All right. So if you guys have any question on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. This is a good time to ask these questions. I'm here to answer these questions for you guys. And let me talk about another type of abuse that we see a lot is when your spouse is hiding documents. So you get the interview notice and they hide it. So you only know that there's an interview notice because you're checking online, or they wouldn't give you certain documents that you need, such as proof that they're U.S. citizens, or they wouldn't give you their affidavits of support, their taxes. Now, if you're filing VAWA, listen up, this is the good news. The good news is that if you're filing VAWA, you don't need an affidavit of support. You do not need somebody to file an affidavit of support. You're exempt. Another reason to take the control in your own hands. Take the power back, okay? And the great thing about VAWA is that it's, the burden of proof is yours, of course. But because the government, the law recognizes the fact that people who are in abusive situations are not always able to garner the best evidence, right? Because sometimes it's just not, they're not able to do that because of the abuse that they're going through. The burden of proof, the standard for VAWA cases is any credible evidence. And what that means is you're not really required to bring anything. There's nothing that says if you don't show this particular evidence, then your case is denied. No, it just says you have to show the 5 things I talked about, and the evidence you show has to be credible. And credible evidence means that it's not conflicting with something else you've said in the past, or it's not it's not fake documents, So sometimes we've had clients who have gotten their VAWA approved on just the declaration. That's it, because they just didn't have much. And you don't have to be married for a certain period of time to be able to file a VAWA application. Sometimes it's a really short marriage. And the great news is this, that the law allows you, as part of your proof, ensuring that you've lived together, it doesn't have to be living together within the marriage. It could be before you got married. So these are actually new updates on the law that are really helpful to VAWA clients. So let me answer Stainless. Stainless says, hi ma'am, do VAWA applications have to be approved before getting a work permit? Never had any benefits based on my I-130 and started VAWA application from scratch. Hi Stainless, that's a wonderful question. I love these questions you guys are coming up with. So your VAWA application does not have to be approved before you get a work permit. If you file the VAWA application together with an I-485, which is, one-step filing, you will get a work permit through the I-485, right? And typically that's going on a different trajectory from the VAWA. So you'll get the work permit, you'll get the advanced parole if you ask for it. Now, if you don't file the adjustment of status for some reason, maybe you're not admissible because of maybe you were in deportation proceedings, you were ordered deported and you cannot adjust your status, or you have some criminal background or something and you cannot file adjustment of status, then you have to wait to get the work permit when the VAWA is approved. So you're getting that work permit on, based on a C31 code, which is a VAWA approval. If you file with an I-485 because you're admissible and you can adjust your status, you'll be doing it on the C9 and you can get a work permit. Now, when you're going to get that work permit, I cannot tell you because the timing is just all over the place. We've had people get their work permit within 4 months. We've had people get their work permits with, it takes a year. So who the heck knows? John Max says, can I sponsor my child to come for his master's program while in the process of changing my status? Well, John Max, this is a question that I'm going to need to get more information about, because for your child to come here in the master's program, that's an F1. And they're looking at different criteria for your child to come on an F1. So it really doesn't have anything to do with your status, because the F1 is a non-immigrant It's non-immigrant visa. So your child is not going to get into a master's program because you're adjusting your status. That has nothing to do with it. In fact, people who are abroad, who come on an F1 visa, their parents are abroad. So that really doesn't have anything to do with that. But I feel like there's a little more in, I feel like there's a reason why you're asking this. So you can call my office if you want to talk about it some more, by scheduling a consultation, 973-993-1900. So I have another question here. So Oli Pop says, will I have to wait 2 to 3 years more to get the VAWA approved, or will the fact that I've already been waiting for an adjustment of status interview for a year help with the time frame? Oli Pop, that's a really great question. If anybody knew the answer to it, we'll be like, we'll make money out of giving this information, but no. The thing is this, there's some VAWA approvals that come really fast. And in my experience, I've noticed that a lot of those have had to do with people who had VAWA abeyances, right? But that's my experience. I don't know other people's experience, and so I can't tell you that there's a rule or policy to it. I just noticed that that's how it happens. So I don't know. It may work out quicker for you, and I hope it does. But I can tell you that there's a policy regarding that. All right. I hope that helped. So Ayodele says a 485 application through a U.S. citizen. Thank you, Stainless. An I-485 application through a U.S. citizen that was denied and was reopened at VAWA. The VAWA is approved, and the approved letter says you will apply for I-485. My question now is, will the client reapply for I-485 or the previous I-485 be reopened automatically? Ayodele, I have no idea what you're talking about. So you have an I-485. Let me break this down to myself. You had an I-485 that was denied. So how was it reopened at VAWA? Because if it was denied, it doesn't get reopened unless you asked for it to be reopened and it was verified to be reopened. And typically, that's not, typically if the I-485 is denied and then you file VAWA, you typically file another I-485 unless there was a reason it was denied. Because sometimes we've had denials reopened either through an appeal process or just by contacting the field office. Maybe it was a wrongful denial. But your question is, if the VAWA is approved and the approved letter says you apply for I-485, my question is, will the client reapply for I-485? So what I'm going to tell you, Ayodele, is just find out if your I-485 is pending, period. If it's pending, you don't have to reapply. And if it's pending, then at some point you will hear from the field office inviting you for either an interview or inviting you to do your medicals. Or if you've done your medicals, you might just get a green card in the mail. So I think the best thing for you to do is just call the 800 number and find out if your I-485 is active. All right. Stainless, yes. Okay, I think I answered Ayodele. So, Stainless says, are you able to share with the audience what is the success rate for your VAWA cases? I have won every VAWA case. I am happy to say, knock on wood, and I'm grateful for that. So for now, that's my success rate. I filed VAWA before the I-485 was denied. For the I-485 was denied. That's Ayodele. I filed VAWA before the I-485 was denied. And I'm trying to look at your questions. I filed I-485 before the I-485 was denied. Yes, my answer is still the same. If you filed VAWA before the I-485 was denied, did you ask for the 485 to be moved to your VAWA application? So you kind of have some homework to do on that. Okay. All right. So Sasha says, what does it mean when they say fingerprints apply to your case? So Sasha, USCIS has decided not to do fingerprints every single time because sometimes they've already gotten your fingerprints through a prior application. So in that case, they will send you a letter and tell you that they're not going to do a biometrics, and that they will use your old fingerprints. That's really it. It's nothing, but they don't give you back your $85 though. So that's really it, and it's a good thing because you don't need to worry about having to go to the biometrics office and getting that done. And then Ayodele says, then the file was transferred to VAWA. So same thing, Ayodele. I think I've answered this question. So if the file was transferred or attached to your VAWA case, then you do not have to file another I-485. But I would say that you should verify that by calling the 800 number. It's really easy. And in that case, if that's the case, then at some point you will hear from the I-485. It typically takes about 3 to 4 months after your VAWA is approved, sometimes longer. In my experience, recently it's been taking about 3 to 4 months for them to reach out to you, right? But it's really easy for you to call the 800 number and confirm that your I-485 is active, because when VAWA approves your petition, they will move your case to the field office where the I-485 is being adjudicated. Hey, Alaji, how are you? Alaji says, hello, the best attorney. How are you? Nice to see you online. Nice to see you too, Alaji. Thank you for joining. So, Stillness is amazing. So, guys, it was such a pleasure talking to you guys. And I really want to try to come more often. But sometimes work is just so much. So, but I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to show up at a certain time so that at least even if I don't have something prepared, at least you guys can ask me questions, and I can answer your questions, okay? All right, guys, take care. And if this video was of value to you, please feel free to share. And don't forget to subscribe so that when I come on, you are notified. All right, take care, everyone. I will be back.